What is going on, Fighter fam? I am glad to see you guys once again for some more Dragon Ball goodness. It looks like everyone has been building their defense quite nicely since the last video, and it looks like you guys really liked the quiz portion from the last video as well, so we're going to definitely keep that going for this one. But for this video, we're going to cover what I believe to be the heart or the meat of Dragon Ball FighterZ. Today we discuss the Z assist system, and if you're a little confused, don't worry, that's what I'm here for. Okay, just sit back, subscribe if you haven't already, and get ready for some perspective. Here we go. So to begin to understand just how important assists are in Dragon Ball FighterZ, let's take a look at a couple of situations and see how they play out. You guys should start to see kind of a trend.
No! 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 Hashtag not gonna happen. No, not gonna happen. Not going to happen.
Now, for those who don't know, we're talking about, and what you're seeing is down heavy, the game's universal anti-air button. Anti-air meaning this move is designed to stop opponents from striking you from the sky, similar to a down heavy punch from Ryu in Street Fighter, right? Or a Shoryuken, or a uppercut from Mortal Kombat, right? Those moves are designed to stop the opponent coming in from above, but unlike those games, Dragon Ball FighterZ, right, due to the nature of Dragon Ball, characters just have a lot of options in the air. You can air dash, you can air dash, then super dash, you can long jump, you can super jump, long jump, and don't even get me started on the special moves. There's a lot of different things you can do in the air, and with all these different options, right, you would think, right, the down heavy, the universal interior option would not be so bad. Why is it so slow, right? Why does it only take up such a small space in front of you, and why does it take so long to recover from, right? If you whiff it, you die, right? There's a lot to be upset about if you come from these other games because you're used to having a standard anti-air option. But before we go off on the Dragon Ball devs, let's take a walk across Arc Systems Boulevard and see what's going on over there with our friends at Guilty Gear. Now, would you look at that? Characters have a universal anti-air option that comes from the equivalent of a light button, and it's quick, it's invincible, frame 1 to aerials, right? Not frame 4. What's going on? Okay, so it's pretty clear our universal anti-air option being relatively weak to all these different ways of moving about the screen in the air was a design choice. It was not an accident. It was not overlooked. This game came out in 2018. If they were going to fix it, they were going to fix it. All of this is very voluntary, right? And that's not the only design choice that kind of makes our characters weak. One of the biggest issues actually for our characters is right in front of us. Let's take a look. Just look at how big the screen is in relation to the size of our normals. They're puny. They're so small, right? So we pretty much have to be right next to our opponents to use them, right? Where we're a lot stronger. That's where we start to feel strong. But how do we get across the screen quickly and safely? By ourselves. We can't just super dash from full screen. That's the one thing down heavy is designed to win against, right? No matter how bad your down heavy is, right? It leaves us vulnerable. So the answer is pretty simple. Use your Z assist. Let me show you just how easy it is to super dash across the screen now that I've locked the opponent down with the beam assist first. Now I have a solution to a problem that no character can truly solve by themselves. And so it becomes clear Dragon Ball characters are really designed incomplete even, right? With certain pieces missing, especially if you come from other fighting games, you will feel that weakness in certain spots. You're like, why don't I have a tool for this, right? This is all on purpose. They want you to use the Z assists to just compensate for your character's flaws, or if you want, there's a different train of thought, you can just crank their strength up to 1,000, right? And everything in between. This little dynamic, this huge dynamic actually, is just the heart of Dragon Ball FighterZ and why so many people are in character crisis mode, right? Because no matter how carefully you craft your team, you have to be weak at something. There is no best team. But there are spots where your team can excel, and it's your job to just keep your opponent in those positions. That's how you get those steamroll situations we're so familiar with, right? So now that we understand the role assist play, let's talk about the rules and restrictions that we have when we use them. Unfortunately, our team can't operate at 100% all the time, even with the proper strategy, planning and execution. There are cooldowns, there are rules, there are restrictions that our team does have to operate around for our assist, right? So let's talk cooldowns. First off, there are two groups of assists with their own respective cooldowns. In the first group, we have the A and B assist, and in the second group, we have the C assist, okay? A and B assist, once regeneration has begun, last about 4.5 seconds to come back, whereas C assists take about 3 times as long. And I know 3 times sounds a little scary, but C assists on hit actually create a combo state for you and offer varying degrees of tracking the opponent. Some even track the opponent midair. So don't let this cooldown scare you off quite yet, because people really like moving without blocking in this game, right? As we previously discussed. Secondly, no assist can be summoned while you're being hit, right, in a combo or in block stun, blocking a block stream, right? This also applies to situations where you have just gotten out of a combo or out of block stun, like when you're recovering from a combo, for instance. A little flip out sequence, you cannot just mash assist. It will not come out immediately. There is a little bit of a time you have to wait, right? The idea is that in order for you to get the help you need to really get out of a situation, they want you to create some wiggle room first. And if you want to know how to do that, just watch the last video on defense. We go over a number of different options on defense to do just that. Lastly, let's talk offense. If you used your assist to start your pressure, right, use an assist into a block string, that very same assist will not regenerate until your opponent has had a legitimate chance to escape. And this is where we can kind of bend the rules, right? If our opponent doesn't know they could have escaped, then we get a free reset on our cooldown. Pretty cool, right? That's where, you know, experimentation and game knowledge really comes into play. But, you know, if you don't want to do all that, you can break this rule entirely by just being in Sparking Blast for whatever reason. If you use an assist to start your offensive pressure while in Sparking, it will reset during your offensive sequence. Pretty cool, right? Thankfully, these rules aren't too hard to remember, and if you lose track of your cooldowns, you can always check out the character portraits at the upper left and right hand corners of the screen really quickly to just get confirmation on when your assist will be coming off cooldown. Alright, that is the last of the rules, and so it's time to get to the fun part where we take a deeper look at the different kinds of assists in the game and how to use them. So at a glance, there's a lot of assists to choose from, right? There's 43 characters now in the game. Everyone gets 3 assists, right? It's a lot, but there is fortunately a method to the madness. Realistically, there's only really 4 or 5 types of assists, depends on who you ask. All of which, remember, solve a problem, a particular problem your point character can't really solve by themselves, right? And remember, this is all by design. Thankfully though, ArcSys has provided us with all the tools we really need in training mode to start creating solutions to these problems. Let's start with the problem we're all familiar with. How does Bardock get across the screen quickly and safely, right? As we discussed earlier, he can solve this problem by using his beam assist to just clear the ground floor and quickly close the gap, right? Assists like the beam grant an advantage from mid-screen to full screen that kind of force the opponent to reposition, right? Or make a decision immediately. Assists like these are what we call neutral assists, and beams like the Kamehameha are just one of the forms neutral assists can take. For example, there's also what we like to call the beam-like assist, like Android 21's A assist, as it covers the same horizontal space as a beam and even clashes with beams entirely, but it's only one single hitting projectile. Regardless, it gets the same job done, and there are other assists like this too that have the same effect. So if you're having a problem with your character getting across the screen or just locking your opponent down to a certain region of the screen, right? Assists like these are the way to go. Now let's move on to another problem that Bardock tends to have. So unfortunately, even if our boy Bardock gets in with the neutral assist, he runs into another problem. How does he get the hit? He doesn't have that many tools he can do safely by himself to really mix up the opponent. Well, that's where the mix-up assists come in, right? They're going to add an extra layer of block stun that's going to free him up to use some of that aerial mobility we talked about, some special moves. Things like Dragon Rush become a lot safer. So the way you want to identify the mix-up assist is you go into training, you turn on, in the info display settings, you turn on startup, frame data, and frame advantage, and we're going to set the opponent to block, and we're going to look for moves that come out, we're going to look for assists that come out faster than 30 frames and give us about 30 frames of advantage on block. The faster they come out, the better, right? Because people are once they get in the block stun or you get into a block string on them, they're going to start looking for the guard cancel. And the faster we can get that assist to take over, the better we can punish the guard cancel. So if you have a character that just kind of has issues getting the hit and they're good at other things, just take a mix assist. They're going to allow you more than enough time to mix up your opponent. So I think Bardock is starting to feel bad because we keep talking about all the things that he's not good at. So let's talk about somebody else. Let's pick on my friend Vegito. So here we have my friend Vegito. He has a ton of neutral control because all of his buttons just take up a lot of space. They're very hit confirmable, and he can convert into a lot of damage in a lot of spots that a lot of characters just cannot. But with that strength comes his weakness, actually. If he whiffs any of these great moves, he's pretty much sitting in recovery frames for an hour in Dragon Ball FighterZ time. But that's okay because we have an assist type to cover that up. Quite literally, with Vegito, I like to take defensive assists like Roshi B, and quite literally, most defensive assists will create a bubble or a sphere around you, or just an area or a wall that just prevent the enemy from taking advantage of you taking a risk at a particularly bad time. They're pretty practical and they're pretty easy to spot. You don't have to put too much trouble into identifying them. And they're pretty unparalleled in how practical they are in a game like this that kind of want you to take risk in order to get real things done, right? So I always got one in the back pocket no matter what team I got. And they come in different forms. You know, you got Roshi B literally creating a ball of protection. Same thing with Android 18 and Android 17's A assist. But you have another kind of defensive assist, and you're going to see these a little bit. These are a little bit more frequent, I would think. You have what we call the anti-air assist. And these are really, really good at just pretty much putting a wall right in front of you if the opponent cannot cross. Some obviously better than others, like we discussed before, but defensive assists allow you a certain kind of freedom that the other assist types just don't give you. You can literally press buttons and not pay for your mistakes. It's actually really, really nice. So if you feel like your character is just prone to taking extraordinary risk and you want to cover it up or just feel safer in defensive positions, go ahead and try out a defensive assist. It helps Vegito, it'll help you too. Next up, we have the Bane assist, the assist that everyone just doesn't like to play against, the tracking assist. It's pretty straightforward, like the name implies. You press the assist button and your teammate comes out like an attack hound and just tells your opponent to sit. They have to block it because it's coming whether they're in the air, on the ground, above your head, in the middle of you blocking. It doesn't matter. They have to respect it. Of course, they have varying degrees of effectiveness like we talked about before. The C assists sometimes travel into the air, sometimes they travel only on the ground, but there are even some A or B assists, famously Baby B, that just says anywhere on the screen, I'm going to come down upon you and you are going to have to sit. There's not much you can do about it. They're pretty anti-fun, so they're pretty rare. You know, ArcSys wants people to have a good time. You're not gonna find them all over the place, but when you find one, especially in the form of an A or B assist with those shorter cooldowns, right? You're gonna like what you see. You're gonna like what you feel. That's for sure. Any character really benefits from it. It's not even like a flaw thing. Of course, they can be used to compensate for a character not having very good long range game, right? Because you can just lock the opponent down, and yeah, that's cool. But anyone would love to have a tracking assist. You're gonna find yourself, if you ever find one or you use Baby B, you're gonna find it's gonna be pretty hard to move away from it. But yeah, those are tracking assists. Have fun. And lastly, we have what I like to call the miscellaneous assist type. They come in all sorts of different forms. They don't do anything in particular, and sometimes they do a little bit of everything that I mentioned earlier. They're kind of weird. If you've ever played, you know, base Goku B, where he just gives you bar, or Gogeta, right, with his A and C assists, some giving you bar, some giving you Dragon Balls. There are some assists that are just out there, and they have different functions too sometimes. So if you ever press, you know, you ever play a new character and you press the assist button and you don't know what's happening, you've definitely found one of the rare runs. That doesn't mean that they're useless or anything. That just means that you're really gonna have to put the work in to really get maximum effectiveness, right? But no matter what assist you take, guys, you have to understand they do have weaknesses as well. But just like any other tool in this game, with a little bit of work, a little bit of knowledge, you can flex them into a bunch of different roles and functions that cover all kinds of weaknesses and combos. Of course, we all know about the assist combos. But yeah, with that being said, you guys know pretty much all the assist types in the game. Let's talk hypotheticals and start crafting and building teams with assist in mind. So to review everything we've talked about up to this point, we're going to do a little bit of an exercise. On the far left is going to be our point character, and to the right, we're going to have 5 assists for him. For the first little bit of this exercise, we're going to take a look at the point character's flaws and try to cover them up with the assist I give you on the right hand side. I'm going to pause the video here for a couple seconds so you guys can go look up these assists if you don't already know them on Dustloop. And when we come back after those 5 seconds, I will go over each one and talk about what's good, what's not good, and things like that. All right, here we go. All right, so our point character here is Gogeta. As we can see, he has no long range tools, and he needs time to really make his mix true. He needs time to set it up. So starting from the left, let's take a look at Roshi B and see if he helps us out. So as we know, Roshi B is a defensive assist. It can technically be flexed in a way to where you can use it as a mix assist, but it doesn't create that much block stun. There's a gap in between the 2 hits that it offers, and it could lead to some bad stuff for Gogeta here. So not the best for Gogeta, so I wouldn't take it. Let's move on to Baby B. Now Baby B, like we talked before, it is a tracking assist. It solves the problem of getting across the screen nice and easy, so this is definitely a great pick. And next we have Kid Buu A. Kid Buu A is the premier mix assist. It does take a while to start up, but that's fine. Gogeta's got plenty of buttons to allow the time to do so. When he sets it up, Gogeta can really take advantage of his double air dash, cross-ups, command grab, and just the threat of the Kid Buu A is going to give him a bunch of potential that he would not otherwise have. Next we have Super Saiyan Goku A. It's a beam assist, and beams are pretty much the mother assist of the game, meaning that you can really flex a beam into any role. It's going to help Gogeta get across the screen, right, control the horizontal, and it provides just enough block stun to really open up his mix game as well. So this is also a good pick. It kind of solves both problems in like a average kind of way. It's not the best, but it fills 2 roles. So if you want to take a more make a more selfish pick with a 3rd pick on your team, you can go ahead and do that. And lastly, we have Teen Gohan A. This is a defensive assist, and just like Roshi, we don't really need it. We can't really flex it into a particular win condition here. Okay, so moving on. Now we're going to do the same exercise, but this time I'm going to list the character's strengths, and we're going to try to amplify them, take them even further beyond. All right, so we're going to go ahead and pause here. We'll be back shortly. Alright, so what we're trying to do here is take advantage of Ultra Instinct Goku's good solo mix tools and the fact that he can just get across the screen in a pretty unique fashion. He has a lot of different ways to just go through projectiles. He can even use his counters, right, to just get across the screen. So yeah, let's see which of these same assists can amplify those effects further. So, starting from the left, we have Roshi B. It is a defensive assist. It does help with his already pretty decent mix, but I'm still going to have to say it's a no-go. That's not particularly, he doesn't really need help in the way that Roshi can provide. Now, Baby B though, coupled with UI's ability to move through the screen, pretty much guarantees he unlocks a particular way of playing the game, right? Now he has a way to get across the screen going through projectiles, and Baby B is constantly applying that attack hound pressure, just locking down the opponent. So that's a great way to just amplify kind of like a what's the word, a bulldog fighting style, if you want to go that route. Next up we got Kid Buu A. Like I said before, premier mix assist. This is going to help us a lot. Just like with Gogeta before, it's going to open up all kinds of tricky movement options he has. He can like hold his stance, right, and then from there do all 3 or 4 of his options. So that's a good one to take too. It's pretty much going to make the opponent basically shiver in fear, like just whimper, because they know now that they're in block stun, they're about to eat that mix, and not even guard cancel is going to save them from that scenario. Next up we got Super Saiyan Goku A. Just like before, it's going to serve our purposes, but I don't think it's quite enough this time. It will provide us with the mix we need, but the thing about UI is that he has a lot of defensive attributes, so he doesn't really need all that much help in the form of a beam. So this would be the one situation where taking the Goku A would be almost like creating a crutch. We could be doing a lot more if we're coming at this from the perspective of we just want to amplify our particular point character's abilities. And last we have Team Gohan A. Unfortunately, just like last time, it's not going to really serve our particular needs this time. That doesn't mean that it doesn't necessarily work for other characters and for other frames of mind when you're playing the game. Alright? But as we can see, depending on our particular perspective, even the exact same assists have different ways to look at them, different strengths and weaknesses, right? It's all about perspective in this game. You got to get something, you got to give up something to get something. And there's a lot of different ways to go about developing your teams. And you know, sometimes you get something that's kind of fun to play, and then sometimes you get things that are just so good people think they're cursed. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed that little exercise. Now it's finally time for the quiz. I know some of you guys want the run back from the last video, so this time there will only be 3 questions, and it's going to kind of be a little bit more comprehensive. It'll involve some information from the previous video, so I hope you guys have been watching those and you've been paying attention. Here we go. Situation 1. The match has just started. Your opponent has decided to play full screen early. They lock you down with a beam assist, and now they're coming in hot from above. What do you do? You take a swift look at your assist options, and you see you have a defensive assist, Roshi B, on the ready. You activate it just in time, and you're able to convert into damage and a side switch. Now they only have a set number of recovery options. What do you do to maintain your offense? You realize your opponent only has 3 recovery options in this scenario. They either get up grounded, or get up from the air, or they delay their get up entirely. You use your remaining assist to cover the ground while you cover the air. Your opponent has chosen to delay their recovery as long as possible, allowing you enough time to meet them with a meaty button on wake up. You get another turn. What do you do to maintain your offense for the kill? Knowing the only logical option for your opponent is to spark on wake up, you notice your first assist has returned. You feign an offense as they're getting up, baiting the spark and effectively punishing for the kill. What a quiz, huh? I hope you guys really like this this new, faster method of going about the quizzes. I'm trying to save you guys time. Let me know how you guys did, of course, and if you want me to slow it down a bit. But yeah, overall, I hope you guys did get some perspective today. I know we really sunk our teeth in the Dragon Ball FighterZ with this video, and I hope you guys enjoyed all the different flavors with that. The lesson here, though, you know, the TLDR, assists are important, choose wisely, and don't be afraid to experiment. It's all about what you want and what you don't want, because you can't have it all, right? Chances are, as you develop as a player, you'll want different things, right? You're going to fight different opponents, you'll want different things. It means you'll want different assists, which means you'll be in Character Crisis sooner rather than later. But you can always come back to this video or just ask me, you know, when I'm live on Twitch or in the comment section or any YouTube video on how to go about crafting a team from there. But yeah, guys, that's it for this one. Leave a like if you guys really enjoyed it. Please share the video, because I know everyone's in Character Crisis mode, and this perspective should help them out getting through that. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Much love. Kairos out.
No! No! No!